Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockreel. Thanks for joining us. As promised, we want to keep residents up to date on what's happening in Bloomington's South Loop District. That's the area spanning from I-494 to Trunk Highway 77. In this week's In the Loop segment, we'll check back on a major construction project at the Mall of America that broke ground a few weeks ago. Today, thanks to a cleverly positioned webcam, we can see what's happened since construction began in late June. This was the scene on June 22nd. The existing ramp between Bloomingdale's and Macy's on the mall's south side, which will be the site of the luxury Radisson Blu hotel, has been removed. Over the next few weeks, you can see progress on the new 3-story parking garage, which the hotel will be built on top of. A representative from Mortensen Construction says that things are on schedule and moving forward nicely. The finished project consists of a 500-room, 13-story luxury hotel connected to the mall by a sky bridge filled with retail shops. The hotel is scheduled to open in spring of 2013. We'll check back on the progress of Radisson Blu as construction continues throughout the summer. Keep tuning in to Bloomington Today, where we'll keep you in the loop about events and news happening within the South Loop District. The Bush Lake Trail reconstruction is in its final stages, but the city of Bloomington isn't stopping there. The next pedestrian and biking trail on the list for a makeover has been decided.
This segment is on Bloomington Ferry Road from Pioneer Trail down around the curve to 106th Street. And we'll be replacing the existing trail pretty much where it is, but once again we'll be bringing it up to today's standards. So there are a couple sections where it will be a little wider than it is now, and we'll also be redoing some of the underpass. People may have gone underneath Bloomington Ferry Road, and we'll be fixing and grading that slope to hopefully provide a slightly safer environment for bicyclists.
Julie anticipates that the city will start taking bids for the project sometime in late July. Long says that the infrastructure of many city trails has lasted a tremendous amount of time before needing a makeover. This new trail revamp, along with past and future improvement projects, is all tied into the city's goal of helping residents live a more active, healthier lifestyle.
In this environment, a lot of people are concerned about their health and different ways to get to work, and by improving our bike trails gets people out of their houses and into the community, and it's more vibrant, and everyone's looking to lose those last few pounds, and it just helps everyone enjoy a Minnesota summer.
As always, we'll keep you informed right here on Bloomington Today on the progress of that trail project, as well as any temporary trail closures you should be aware of. The Minnesota Department of Health says that a tick bite is to blame for a recent death of a Minnesota resident. Bloomington Public Health Clinical Services Manager Karen Stanley urges residents to properly protect themselves from tick bites by doing more than just wearing insect repellent.
Wearing light colored clothing when they're in the woods so that they can more easily spot the deer ticks if they're on their clothing. They should also make sure that when they come in from the woods that they do check themselves for ticks or have someone else check them for ticks.
Deer ticks are one of 13 species of known ticks in Minnesota and look very different from wood ticks. Deer ticks have the potential to carry many diseases, including Lyme disease, an illness transmitted through a bite that can cause skin irritation, nervous system complications, and even paralysis. As you can see from this map provided by the Minnesota Department of Health, central Minnesota and the west central portions of the state are the most prone to tick-borne disease. If you should ever find a tick on yourself, take the following measures.
Take a tweezer and then make sure that you get as close to the skin surface as you can to try to make sure that you remove the head of the tick as well as the body of the tick. And then just slowly, gently pull on the tick to get it to be released from the skin where it's attached itself.
One common misconception Karen wanted to clear up is that tick season is still in full swing. While the numbers may die down a bit in the month of August, they jump right back up in September and October. For more information on ticks, where they can be found, and what they look like, as well as prevention measures, visit the city's website. Keyword search tick. As promised in an episode of Bloomington Today from last month, we stopped out at the city's second community garden location at Smith Park to see how things are growing. Take a look. Hot weather paired with a decent amount of rainfall has brought lots of growth to the garden plots at Smith Park, located at 8155 Park Avenue South. As you can see, cucumbers, peppers, and flowers are all budding in the 54 rented plots. And as the saying goes, corn is knee-high by the 4th of July. This corn is actually much higher than knee-high. Way to go, gardeners. Keep up the good work. The Smith Park and Harrison Park community garden sites have been made possible by the statewide Health Improvement Program grant. Community gardens like these help the city promote healthy, active lifestyles. The garden plots for 2011 have long since been sold out, but if you're looking to try gardening out or live in an apartment or townhome where you can't garden, look into renting a plot for the 2012 year. Applications start being accepted as early as February. More information can be found on the city's website, keyword search garden. And if you didn't obtain one of the city's 82 community garden plots, but would still like access to locally grown fruits, vegetables, flowers, and more, stop by Civic Plaza every Saturday for the Bloomington Farmers Market. The Bloomington Farmers Market is in full swing, setting up in the east parking lot every Saturday between 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. through October 15th. The month of July has brought lots of in-season produce, including potatoes, zucchini, onions, lettuce, radishes, broccoli, blueberries, and much more. For a complete list of vendors, a map of the market, and live entertainment schedule, visit the city's website, keyword search Farmers Market. It's now time for a short break. When we come back, we're joined by longtime Bloomington Police Officer and City Cable Television host Jim Cowie. He'll be reflecting on his time with the BPD as he nears retirement. Stay with us.
Bet the mail's here.
I got it last time.
I'm busy.
Busy?
For some people, living with painful hips or knees can turn little jobs into big jobs. But it doesn't have to be that way. Today, physicians and patients are partnering together, choosing from a new generation of treatments and therapies that can not only reduce hip and knee pain, but restore a little spring. Life's too short to be stuck in the slow lane. To get up to speed on just how far hip and knee treatments have come, visit orthoinfo.org, a public service message from the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons.
Don't forget tomorrow's trash day.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. We're now joined by longtime Bloomington Police Officer Jim Cowie. Welcome, Jim. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
Well, you are nearing retirement. You've been with the City of Bloomington's Police Department for quite a few years, and you're also no stranger to being in front of the camera. And we're going to talk a bit about that later, but first, talk a bit about your background. Have you always known that you wanted to be involved with law enforcement?
Actually, no. There's usually two groups of cops out there. Those that grew up wanting to be a cop from when they were real young, and those like myself that kind of stumbled into it. No, as a matter of fact, I I was in my mid-20s, and a friend of mine was a police officer in Minneapolis, and he had me do some things with him on doing some security, and kind of got bit by the bug. And that's when I went back to college for criminal justice, and 27 years later, here I am.
Wow. Well, has all your time been with the Bloomington Police Department? Tell us a bit about where this career has brought you, and you obviously ended up here.
Sure. No, actually, after I went to Normandale Community College and went through the skills course in Minnesota here, my first cop job was down in Carrollton, Texas, where I worked for 10 years. It's a city a lot like Bloomington, about the same demographics, a little bit larger, and it's right on the north side of Dallas, but it's right on 35, and that's where I started.
Wow, very neat. And then you've been with Bloomington for how many years?
17 years now.
Wow. Well, once coming to Bloomington, or I should say coming back to Bloomington from Texas, you became very active in the community. Tell us a bit about some of your most memorable organizations you've been involved with.
Oh, you know what? I guess kind of what started me off on the crime prevention tour here is I started off as a DARE instructor in Bloomington, and really enjoyed that. I loved working with the kids in the schools, loved doing the presentations, and it wasn't too long after that there was an opening in the crime prevention unit, and I applied for that and got that spot.
Well, once coming into the crime prevention unit, you kind of primarily worked in one field. Mm-hmm. Talk a bit about that.
Yeah, probably my largest job in the crime prevention unit has been working with the rental properties, and I coordinate the crime-free multi-housing program, which is really, it's an international program that started up down in Mesa, Arizona, and it's one of those programs that actually produces what it promises. There's a lot of fluff programs out there that promise a lot and don't deliver, but crime-free multi-housing really does help create a safer environment for citizens to live in. And that's what I've done for probably the last 12 years, working with the different rental properties.
Absolutely. And I know firsthand, because I spoke with one of the rental properties on a past story, and she said that, you know, your work with her property has improved it tenfold. So, well, let's talk a bit about your work with the Bloomington Crime Prevention Association. You've been actively involved with that as well.
Oh, I have, and you know what? That's a great organization out there. They've been around for since 1981, and I've worked with them for about the last 5 years. I think probably most people know them from their used book sale, Book 'em, that this last year did very well. It was in 2 weeks. In the month of June, they raised just shy of $120,000, wow, selling donated used books, and all the workers are volunteers. So it's a very, very good organization, and all of that money goes back into the community in the form of crime prevention grants. Some of it to the police department, some to the school district, and some to other organizations that fill out grant applications.
Wow. Sounds like a good organization to be involved with.
Yeah. You know what? And I know that you're going to probably ask about this. They've got a new one that's coming up here, a new event called the Tom Burnett Hometown Heroes Celebration. That'll be taking place on the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. So that's September 11th, 2011. It'll be over at the Hilton on the east side of town over on 38th Avenue. It'll be a great event.
Absolutely. We'll be sure to talk more about that as it comes nearer. As we had said before, you've been with Bloomington for 17 years. If you had to narrow it down, what has kept you here for 17 years?
You know what? Really, the people that work here. It's a great police department to work for. They have a very strong emphasis on training. They've high integrity level. The officers that come here, they like to work, and which that isn't really the case in all cities. So Bloomington has been, I guess maybe the personality of the Bloomington Police Department has fit my personality a lot. Great people to work with.
Wonderful. Well, as I had mentioned earlier in the interview, you're no secret to being on a set and, working in front of the camera. Talk a bit about your involvement with the communications production of Roll Call. Tell us a bit about what that is and why you chose to get involved.
It was part of my job.
Oh.
When I started in the crime prevention unit, Rich Klingeman was the face of the Bloomington Police Department, and the show back then was called Crime Time. And we still run across people out there at the gas station or whatever that know the show as Crime Time. And that was just a one-man set, one camera, and we would tape our statistics around the outside of the camera and try and read them. So things have really changed a lot in the last 12 years to having a co-host and interviews and teleprompters. So a lot of things have changed, but it's been a lot of fun because you learn a lot about the city just by researching for the stats for the calls and reading the stories in the reports and seeing the funny and the not so funny parts of what goes on in the city of Bloomington.
Absolutely. In your opinion, do you think that what's your feedback been? I guess have people approached you and said, thanks for doing this, or you've taught me. What's your feedback on Roll Call been?
Yeah, it's actually kind of embarrassing because no matter where you go, somebody comes up to you and says, "Hey, you're the guy from the show." And my wife, when we're in town, maybe at church or somewhere, she gets embarrassed by people coming up and making comments about that. But it's kind of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm sorry, I'm a month off. July 29th is your last day with the City of Bloomington's Police Department. Mm-hmm. If you had to sum up kind of your time here, how would you?
You know what? I think probably the way to remember my career as being a police officer is that this is one of those few professions where you can actually make a difference. Everybody wants to make a difference in the world. But there aren't really a lot of jobs out there where you're afforded the opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. And this is one of those jobs where you can actually look back and you can pinpoint a few days here, a few events there, where what you did changed somebody or helped somebody change their life. So I think that would probably be one of the number one things that I'll take away from this job.
Absolutely. Well, we wish you all the best of luck in anything future endeavor that you are starting now. And we'd like to thank Bloomington Police Officer Jim Cowie for being here with us today and for all his years of service to the city of Bloomington. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, a 9-iron, the net. Even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
My name's Emily, and in 7 years, I'll be an alcoholic.
Hi.
I'll start drinking in 8th grade, but my parents won't really notice because I'll do okay in school and everything will seem okay, but everything won't be okay.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today, everyone. The City of Bloomington's Community Development Department is continually working on ways to draw new and unique businesses into the city. One facility geared toward youth education in a fun, hands-on environment will be opening its doors to the public soon. The City Council discussed the Works hands-on museum at the July 11th meeting.
It's quite an interactive museum, and it's working with science and technology and engineering, and it's done something. And I've had the opportunity to work with that executive director of that museum, and them coming to Bloomington is really a big deal. And it's going to be something, as they move here, it's going to, I think, really gain some traction and get going, and I think there should be great excitement.
Community Development Director Larry Lee says the partnership potential between the Works Kids Museum and the community could be quite great.
The thing that's exciting to me is the partnerships they're already talking about with private schools, I'm sure with the public schools, with the Bloomington Arts Center. There are many things that they can do with each other, and they're very partnership oriented, and many of our organizations in Bloomington are understanding the potential for partnerships with them too.
The Works will be located just off 98th Street and Grand Avenue, across from the Festival Foods. It is currently stationed in the Edina Community Center. We're excited to welcome the Works to Bloomington. We'll have more on the Hands-On, Minds-On Museum as they near an opening date set for later this summer. And as mentioned in the previous story, a large part of what the city's community development team does is work to bring businesses to Bloomington. City Manager Mark Bernardson gave kudos to both the planning and engineering departments at the July 11th council meeting for the work taking months, sometimes years, to draw a business into Bloomington.
The amount of time that was put in on Radisson Blu to take off, and now Pan American. Those are the things that are leading this community forward to make things happen. And even the Luxembourg, that project that's now coming out of the ground, did a lot of work a few years ago to work through some very difficult issues, and now that the economy is moved forward and able to move ahead. So I think that they do very key work for this community to move forward and keep developing the community now and long into the future.
Have you ever driven by a state or federal building and wondered why the flags outside are flying at half-mast? The city would like to ensure that people who live, work, or visit Bloomington are aware as to why the 3 flags standing tall outside Civic Plaza are at half-mast on a given day. City Facilities Maintenance monitors various sites where proclamations are made by either the president or the governor ordering flags to be flown at half-mast. Most recently, on July 18th, city employees lowered the flags after Governor Dayton ordered that all state and federal buildings in Minnesota show remembrance of the fallen Minnesota Marine Sergeant Ian Williams McConnell. In an effort to keep Bloomington residents informed as to why flags outside Civic Plaza will be at half-mast, the city's communication team will update the city's website when made aware of a proclamation. Bloomington Public Health would like to invite residents to get to know their neighbors while expanding their cultural horizon by attending the Creating Community with New Americans event. This gives residents a chance to connect with their neighbors from another culture while promoting social connections to new Americans in order to expand awareness of services to make our population healthier. Public Health has 2 opportunities available for residents to attend these free events. Thursday, July 28th, Public Health will discuss ways to stay healthier in the community. Then on Thursday, August 4th, the Bloomington Police and Fire Department will highlight staying safe in other countries. Both events are from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Oxborough Library, located at 8801 Portland Avenue. To register, visit the city's website, keyword search New Americans, and scroll down to the 3rd option. You'll then find a link to register for one or both of the events. Well, that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, Sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockerill. Thanks so much for joining us.